With round 3 of the FA Cup in 1999-2000 being played in December, one of Newcastle United or Tottenham Hotspur was going to have their season prematurely ended before Christmas, as the sides contested this replay at St James's Park. Tottenham were under the management of George Graham, who'd succeeded Christian Gross. Graham had won the League Cup in his first season in charge, but his spell as manager would ultimately be short-lived. A late Gary Speed header in the first game had salvaged a draw for the Toon Army in a match that Spurs had dominated. At home, however, the Geordies were a different proposition.
Good evening, the season's greetings tune, and welcome to the northeast of England for our live FA Cup third round replay. This is St James's Park, where in the next hour and a half, Newcastle or Tottenham will take their place in the fourth round of this season's FA Cup. Gary Speed scored Newcastle's equaliser at White Hart Lane to set up tonight's replay. Remember, Newcastle have been to the last two FA Cup finals and lost both. Tottenham have lost German midfielder Stefan Freund, who's injured, so they move Ramon Vega into a defensive three. Tottenham are playing with wing-backs tonight. Former Newcastle winger David Ginola is back on Tyneside, and he's ruffled a few feathers by claiming Alan Shearer is living solely on his reputation as England captain. That hasn't gone down too well at St James's Park, and Ginola can expect a torrid time from the home supporters tonight. Bobby Robson is the man who's now in charge at Newcastle United. His last FA Cup campaign was 17 years ago, when his Ipswich side lost to Shrewsbury back in February 1982. He led Ipswich to the FA Cup in 1978. So we're all set for the FA Cup third round replay. Tottenham get us underway in a change strip. Remember, the winners play Sheffield United, who overcame Rushden and Diamonds last night after a penalty shootout. And just to underline the fact that this game could well go to a penalty shootout if the scores remain level after extra time. Bobby Robson now in his 33rd year in management. George Graham, his first game in charge of Spurs was a 2-0 win against Newcastle United. That was at White Hart Lane, though. This is Tim Sherwood. Chris Perry, who's really settled down well at Tottenham since his move from Wimbledon. Crunching tackle by Perry, and the velocity of the tackle eventually rebounded the ball in his path. Real heavyweights there, Duncan Ferguson and Chris Perry. This is Hughes. Ferguson. Held out. Picks out Warren Barton. Boyhood Arsenal fan, Warren Barton, so he'll want to do well tonight. Ferguson, 1-0 to Newcastle. And Gary Speed, who scored in the first game at White Hart Lane, gives Newcastle a dream start after just 4 minutes. Lovely cross by Warren Barton. Now, was there an offside there? You can see the referee's assistant kept his flag down. Not one Tottenham player appealed for it. Vega held there with the header. Sherwood. Sol Campbell now for Tottenham, who need a goal. They went behind as early as the 4th minute to that goal from Gary Speed of Newcastle United. He's not the sort of player you want to argue with, Duncan Ferguson. Real up and at 'em merchant. As Vega gets the ball out for a corner, and more pressure now coming in on that Tottenham defence. Campbell keeping a close eye on Shearer. as Solano prepares to take this corner kick. Play to the back post, and it's 2-0. Nikos Dabizas is on target. The player who clearly handled the ball from Stephen Carr's free kick in last season's semi-final has a major say in this third round tie. He scored Newcastle's winning goal here against Spurs at the end of last month, and he could well have put the tie beyond Tottenham after nearly half an hour of this game. Let's not forget Tottenham of their fair share of injuries. Anderton is out with an Achilles tendon. Les Ferdinand is out with an ankle injury. Scales out with a calf injury. Willem Korsted out with an ankle injury. Stephen Carr out with an ankle injury. There's almost an entire football team there between the two sides. And here's Helder for Newcastle. Ginola has Fox up in support. Nielsen just behind him. Oh, what a goal! Ginola has given his answer to his critics with a quite sublime goal to bring Tottenham a foothold in this cup tie. They just backed off and backed off, and Ginola, who might have seen his shot take a deflection, won't quibble with that. Just seemed to loop up off a Newcastle defender. And Tottenham won't need reminding that on each of the last three occasions Newcastle have beaten Spurs in the FA Cup. They've gone on to reach an FA Cup final. But will Newcastle prevail tonight? Ginola. Vega. Ginola still claiming he was fouled. He should really get up and try get involved with this Tottenham raid. Could be a lot more use like that. Lauren Hughes getting the ball to safety. Ginola wants to inspect his damaged ankle. I think he could be in trouble here. If you're injured, get off the pitch. Well, there was no contact with the ankle of Ginola, I'm sure. Well, none that I could see anyway. Sherwood. Just over the head of Everson. Solano. Warren Barton gallops forward now for Newcastle. We're in the final minute of the first half. Lovely ball in. Oh, it's come loose. Oh, it's in. Duncan Ferguson scores for Newcastle. What a mistake by Spurs. It's his first FA Cup goal in nearly 3 years. What a peculiar instant this was. The goalkeeper lost it, and via the underside of the bar, Duncan Ferguson scores another important goal for Newcastle. And look what it means to him. It has to go down as a goalkeeping error against Ian Walker. Well, we've had just about everything in this game. It's Newcastle 3-1 up now. And they were tempting the audacious there from Robert Lee. But Ian Walker will have to shoulder some of the responsibility for this third goal. Perry. Tarico. Ginola. Lovely flick on by Ferguson. Shearer. And he's picked out Kieran Dyer now, the England international. Good night, Tottenham. They're going out of the cup. And Kieran Dyer settled his cup tie once and for all. What an exquisite finish this was. This is what Newcastle have been missing whilst Dyer has been sidelined. And that, would you believe, is his first ever goal in the FA Cup. Even an old man enjoyed that, and he's seen a few goals in his time. He's lost the plot, I'm telling you. And it's bye-bye, Ginola, who with some irony applauds his tormentors. Enter Jose Dominguez. No complaints from the old fella. There'll be plenty of recriminations from the Tottenham camp, I'm sure. And this is Warren Bart now for Newcastle United. Guy has popped up in the opposite wing. Aaron Hughes. Vega got it clear. Sherwood. And Shearer. They need a bit of support here. He's got it too from Warren Barton. Solano. Vega got it clear only as far as Ketsbaia. And Shearer, who claims he was fouled, and there's a penalty. Well, the story of last season's semi-final between these two sides was all about one penalty given and one not. And this one has quite clearly been given for that push on Alan Shearer. It was Nicholas Dabisas's handball which wasn't spotted by Paul Durkin, which is a turning point of that match. But now Graham Poll gives Alan Shearer the chance to put his signature on this famous win. Job's a good one. Oh, one wondered how long it would be before Shearer got his name on the score sheet. And it's 11 goals now in 13 FA Cup appearances. Terrific record for Alan Shearer. Jose Dominguez. I'm sure Ian Walker will remember the time he came here and let in 7 as Tottenham lost 7-1 to Newcastle in December '96. Clements. To be honest, I think George Graham is going to have to go away and have a long, hard look at his team after this showing tonight. This is Kieran Dyer. Gets Bayer. Shearer, 6. Oh, they're just loving this. Another FA Cup goal for Alan Shearer. And he's on his hat-trick. Oh dear. And we're heading for that 7-1 result again, aren't we? 12 FA Cup goals in his last 13 FA Cup appearances. I think you can put the kettle on now. We won't be having extra time. Well, I'm not a betting man, but I'd love to know what the odds of a Newcastle United 6-1 victory here tonight would have been. We're talking, what, 250 to 1 perhaps? Goodness only knows. Bobby Robson is heading for a very happy Christmas indeed. George Graham is about to give his team one of the great rollickings of their lives. He's only had 3 attempts on goal, and he's scored 2 goals for Newcastle United. What a time to put in one of the performances of the year from Newcastle United. They've had so many unhappy times in the last 12 months. There was a real depression hanging over the club when Ruud Gullit was here. The only bright spot perhaps beating Tottenham and qualifying for the FA Cup final, but Newcastle never really did themselves proud at that Wembley occasion last May. He must be thinking about that 7-1 thrashing here in December '96. There's going to be 6 matches now for Tottenham without a victory. Their last success was at Southampton towards the end of November. Newcastle United, who went 7 matches at the start of the season without a victory, and they lost 6 of those. Hey! What's Vega going to get here? A yellow card. Then he took his boot off. Some of this has been comical, to be honest. Dyer, Timori Ketsbayer. It wouldn't be Newcastle's biggest win of the season. They did beat Sheffield Wednesday 8-0 here back in September. That was only Bobby Robson's third game in charge. But Bobby Robson really has turned this football club around. Armstrong. Ketsbayer. Dyer. Slight error allows Sol Campbell to win possession back for Tottenham on what has been a very bleak night for the North London club. One minute of stoppage time to come, that's all. This is a spanking defeat for Tottenham and a terrific success for Bobby Robson. Ketsbayer. He's running right through the middle here. Vega just managed to get the ball to safety. It's 6 of the best from Newcastle, who are through to round 4 of this season's FA Cup, where they'll meet Sheffield United. This was a very one-sided game. Shearer signed his signature on this Newcastle win with 2 late goals, one from the penalty spot, but by then Tottenham were beaten and were simply playing for their pride, and there wasn't much pride about Tottenham tonight. Gary Speed got Newcastle on their way with a goal in 5 minutes. Kieran Dyer, for me, scored the goal of the game after he came on as a substitute. His first FA Cup goal. And Alan Shearer continues in this terrific vein of form when it comes to the FA Cup. He just loves this competition. And 2 more for the Shearer scrapbook tonight. So those Newcastle fans have the ideal Christmas gift. But who could have believed it could have come in such an emphatic form? Final score in this FA Cup third round replay from St James's Park is Newcastle United 6, Tottenham 1.
Newcastle United went on to beat Sheffield United, Blackburn Rovers and then Tranmere Rovers before meeting Chelsea at the semi-final stage. A third successive final appearance was not to be, however. Gustavo Poyet scoring twice to end the Geordies' dreams.